Hi guys, this is Esther. Today we're going to be doing another Sudoku. We decided to do it online using a website called SudokuKingdom.com. We wanted to get you guys a little bit accustomed to seeing what an online Sudoku looks like. As you can see over here, we have the numbers 1 through 9, and as you click on them, they are highlighted in the puzzle, so it becomes much easier to see where you have numbers. Therefore, it's easier to see where you're missing numbers as well. The level of difficulty that we were doing today is a medium. This is 2 levels above the first Sudoku that we did, which was labeled very easy, which was for real beginners, which you can find up here under the beginners section. Alright, so we're going to get started right away. I just want to let you guys know ahead of time that these Sudokus are all about, first of all, strategy, but also trial and error. So we might start to look at certain rows and columns that don't lead us anywhere. We're just going to have to skip over them and use other strategies or go back in and look at something else, which is okay. So let's get started. We're going to start just like we did in our last Sudoku and try to look for some forced entries here. As you can see, there are going to be less forced entries than there were in the first puzzle, but there are still some nonetheless. So I don't see any other ones. For 2s over here, again, I don't see any forced 2s. 3, we have one over here. I'm just going to go through this a little bit faster just because we already worked on this strategy in our last Sudoku. As far as 4s go, none there. 5 can go over here. That's about it. 6s, we have one there. 7s, not too many. 8s, alright, we have an 8 that can go up here. We also have one that can go over here. And one that can go here. We can't do anything else with those. And 9s, great. We have one there. And that one there, and that is about it. So as you can see, we got some fewer forced entries than we did the last time. This one actually has more forced entries than some of the other medium difficulty puzzles. So now we're just going to start. We're going to pick a row or a column that has a lot of them filled in. So I'm going to start with this row right here. So we have a 1, a 2, 3, we're missing a 4, we have a 5, and we're missing a 6. So we're missing a 4 and a 6. So I'm going to start over with this cell. I see that there's a 4 here. So over here, I know there's going to be, not going to be a 4 there, I'm sorry. So I know the 4 is going to go over here. So we know that this other one has to be a 6. I knew that that 4 was wrong, obviously, because it highlighted in red, which is another good thing about these online Sudokus is that they tell you when something's wrong so you don't get too far. Alright, let's start with this box since we only have 2 left. 1, we're missing a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7. So a 2 and a 7. There's nothing that tells us that either one of these can be a 2 or a 7, so we'll just move along. And let's look at this column. We have a 1, we're missing a 2. We have a 3, we're missing a 4, 5, 6, and a 7. So a 2, 4, and a 7. As you can see, a 4 cannot go here, so we know that the 4 has to go somewhere up here, but again, it's not obvious. And this is going to happen a lot during these harder Sudokus. Let's look over here. You have 9, 8, 7, we're missing a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. So a 6, a 2, and a 1. Up here I see a 1, so I know that that can't go there. But more importantly, there's a 2 here, and this 2 knocks out a 2 going here or here, so we know a 2 has to go over there. Alright, so we're missing still a 1 and a 6, and again, there's nothing else here that tells me that a 1 is going to go in one place or the other. And that is just fine. Alright, let's start with, let's start with this column over here, this row. 1, 2, 3, we're missing a 4. A 4 can't go here. That's alright, we're missing a 5. A 7 and a 9. 4, 5, 7, and 9. So we can't have a 4 or a 9 over here. We can't have a 5 here, but again, It looks to be, let's click on the 5s to see where we see them. All right, we still are unable to figure it out. But I do see that as we filled in some of these numbers, there's a new forced 5 over here, which shows me again that there's a forced 1 here. And it's always good to go back. You can go back to 1 and start looking for new forced numbers as you move along. Because as you fill in these numbers, all these green ones, it's going to create more and more forced entries. So now in this column, we only have 1 left. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're missing a 6. So we know that a 6 has to go here. Awesome. Let's look at this column. We have a 1. We're missing a 2. The 2 can't go up here. It has to go either here or here. But it is unclear as to where it's going to go. Let's look at this one. We're missing a 1, but a 1 can't go here or here or here. So that means it has to go over there. 1, we're missing a 2, 3, we're missing a 4, 5, 6, and a 7. So a 2, a 4, and a 7. You can't have a 4 here because there's already 1 right here, and we can't have a 4 there. So we know we have to have a 4 there. So now we're missing a 2 and a 7, and again, it's unclear where the 2 and the 7 are going to go. So let's move on. Let's just look at this entire box here. We're missing a 1. The 1 can't go here, but that's the only thing that we know about it so far. So we have a 2, a 3, we're missing a 4, 5, we're missing a 6, and a 9. So a 4, a 6, a 9, and a 1. Alright, so we can't have a 4 here or here because they are knocked out by those surrounding 4s, so we know we have to have 1 there. Let's see, so as far as 6s go, we can't have a 6 here, so it has to go there. And so then it's between a 2 and a 9, and there's a 9 over here, so we have to have that there, and that tells us that a 1 is going to go over here, and then that tells us that a 1 has to go there and here. Now we have no more 1s that we need to put into the Sudoku, so this one is going to get dark, so we know that we don't need any more 1s. So that is great. As far as 2s go, we still have to find all these other numbers here, which is going to take some time. Alright, 5s. We have a new forced 5 over there. That's wonderful. 6s. Forced 6 here. A forced 6 here. And a forced 6 there. Now we have no 6s. 7s, we're just going to go through again and look to see through all the numbers if we have any more forced entries. And it doesn't look like we do in 8s, but in 9s, we are seeing all of our 9s gone. Great, and so as you can see, even though I was having trouble filling them in using other strategies, once you get stuck, just go back in and look for all your forced entries, and it will really help you make some progress. So let's look at this box. Actually, we already know that that box was hard to do, but let's just look at it again. 1, we're still missing a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 2 and a 7. And still, we can't tell whether a 2 or a 7 is going to fit in there. How about down here? 1, we're missing a 2 here. And a 3, 4, 5, 6. A 2, a 7, and an 8. So let's look at our 8s. We know that an 8 can't go here, so this has to be an 8. And a 7 can't go here. And a 2 can't go here. So that tells us, since we only have 3 spaces left, and this space cannot be a 2 or a 7, we know that it has to be an 8. And so that tells us that these boxes are going to be either 2s or 7s. And again, we can't be sure. Up here, we also know that there's going to be either a 2 or a 7 up here. All right, let's look at this box. 1, we're missing a 2 here. We know that the 2 has to go here. Now that is also important because if we need a 2 in this box and it can't go in this cell, we know it has to go in this row, which means that there can't be 2's in either of these cells because it's already going to be over here in this row. And so that means there has to be a 2 here, because if it can't go here because of it being forced over here, and it can't go here because of this 2, it needs to go over there. So let's look at this row. We have 1, 2, 3, we're missing a 4, 5, 6, and a 7, a 4 and a 7. But we can see that even though there's no 4 here, there's a 7 here. So that forces the 4 to go here and the 7 to go over here. And now this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for one of these 7's to be forced so we can get all the rest of them. Awesome. And now we are done with 7's. 4's, we're also going to be able to get a bunch of 4's because of just getting that 1 7. Alright, so let's go through again and look for more forced cells. And they're going to be all over the place since we only have a couple more numbers left here. Here's a 3. There's going to be 3's all over. And our last number that we're missing is an 8. And there we are. We're all done. It only took 10 minutes. Alright, feel free to come to Sudoku Kingdom and practice more. You can always restart if you're having trouble with one, change your difficulty level. If medium is too hard, go back to easy. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. Have a good rest of your day.